Vámonos! Welcome everyone. Welcome Sarah. Thank you for joining us.
Woo! Sorry. Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm just looking at it on my phone. We're live.
Yeah. We're live on Facebook. So welcome everyone. We're gonna wait like a few seconds till this starts coming in. People start coming in. Thank you everyone that is slowly coming in and joining us. This is the 6th edition of Surface Interval, and we are extremely honored of having Sarah joining us today. Sarah, I guess that most of you know already, and we've made it very clear who she is, but is also a great friend and someone we admire extremely. So this chat is, I think, for me personally, a very interesting topic that gets out of our normal freediving common ground, and it's going to be super interesting to hear your voice on it.
Hola, Sarita.
So guys, so for everyone that is coming in, like, feel free to leave your comments, say hi, and at the same time, we will, like, if you have any questions that come up, just please write down on the comments so that we will go showing them as time passes. Chiquitín, hola.
How do you see when people join?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
See, because you have to be kind of in the administrator.
Oh, I'm not
we have 26 people watching, so you know, so far.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hi guys. Hello everyone. Thank you for the introduction. Where do I start? Let's maybe start with how all of us know each other. So Amancay and Girls at Scuba. We all met we met differently at different times, but around 3 years ago or 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And we've never been all the three of us together, but live like that.
Together. It was supposed to happen like last year, and then hopefully it will happen this year. But anyway, yeah. So we met when I was just traveling around Mexico and diving, and one of our mutual friends, Jay Clue from Dive Ninjas, was like, "You need to go freediving with these girls. They're awesome." And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. And it was as easy as that. And then I came to the shop and Kande had when Amancay had the little shop, and it went from there. And obviously I loved my experience. But just to not talk too much about freediving, because we're talking about business today, I won't tell you how freediving changed my life, because I'm sure you can imagine. So yeah, that's a little background about how we all know each other.
For her, it was just that, no? For us, it was like, Jay told us who you were and this and that, and I was like, okay, yeah, let's check it out, And you showed to the shop. And like the nice thing, and I think that a little bit of what we want to transmit today is the easiness, simplicity behind everything, no? Like, you're managing nowadays a massive business, like really big in a really big industry, but then Sarah showed up like, oh, I like these fins. And then there was Sarah, and then there was friendship. Like,
yeah, exactly. Hopefully it's still like that now. And you say I'm running a big business, but I don't think I am.
Well, that I think that comes to a topic afterwards through the conversation of how, like, as businesses, as you run your business, you're always thinking that it's not like that it can disappear in 1 second, you know, and like it, for some people a perspective is huge, and for others it's like, well, from the inside it's like, well, it's not that much.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like quite a key thing to kind of mention and to maybe start this chat really is that I never started Scuba for it to ever be a business. It kind of developed into a business, and that's kind of when I had to learn about business. So I think that's actually always a really good place to start. Like, I'm not going to talk about like how Girls at Scuba started, because I think most people now understand how that happened, or can probably actually just guess. But I think it would be great to go into how it became a business.
Yeah, I think that jump, that bridge the difference of creating the network and open space to deciding to, okay, how do I create out of this a business, or how do I follow up the growth that is having immediately? That's super interesting to hear from you.
Yeah, so I always say that I kind of started business like the wrong way round, like without a plan, like without any experience, and just basically I started Girls at Scuba as a business because there was a demand from the girls already in the community. So it wasn't something, I wasn't born and been like, you know, one day I'm going to like take over the world with Girls at Scuba. Like that was never kind of something that was in my business brain. Of course, it was like in my personal brain. You know, I actually created a business in scuba diving or in diving because of demand. And I think that anyone here that wants to start a business in scuba diving or in any kind of industry first needs to check if there is a demand there, or if there is kind of a gap in the market there. And I think Girls at Scuba is a great example of, there was never a female dive community in diving. So if it wasn't me, it would have been someone else that set it up, you know. This happens that I was right time. The rest took a lot of hard work, but you know, even just being able to recognize a demand or recognize a gap in the industry is like, that's your number one tip, like to start off with. Is what you want to do needed? Is it in demand? Is it already, you know, or is it oversaturated?
I think in that sense, we not only have Sara right now here, but we have Lucre, no? Lucre is another great entrepreneur, and I can tell because I'm her partner, and I see how you both girls, your brains work constantly. So it's very interesting what Sara is saying, because I think it relies a lot in what Amancay in Playa del Carmen has been 5 years ago, no? So yeah, I want to just bring that, like, similarities between businesses from two very good entrepreneurs, women in the diving, because look at
like it was a good timing at the right place at the right time. I think we went with a little bit of luck on our favor. Regardless of all the hard work that came with it, like there is always that little thing of knowing if it was the right place and there was a market for it. And I think that you're bringing a good point to start with if you're thinking on building up or jumping into your own. Like,
right. I think you don't need to have the next big idea. And like a lot of people be like, well, I can't start a business because you know, it's like, it's not going to work, or it's not like going to be successful enough, or it's not like out there enough. But like, it doesn't have to be the next big idea. It just has to be something that can fit in an industry that's, or every single industry is already developed. So it's how you can fit in there. Like, you know, Girls at Scuba wasn't the next big idea. It's almost common sense to have a female dive industry, female community inside any industry, really, especially a male-dominated one. So it wasn't the next big idea. It was just going from there, and then how I built it. That kind of took a lot of work. But I think most people are worried about even starting. So
How much time, like, until you developed everything since the very start? Like, how long you were on your own on this? Because now you work with more people and everything, but how much time did you actually started developing all of this on your own and just finding and setting everything in your head?
I guess it was about a year that it was kind of like completely on my own. When we got to like 5,000 members on the Girls at Scuba Facebook group, that's kind of when people actually started coming to me and said, like, would you like me to be a moderator or an admin? And I was like, yeah, great. Like, you know, and they will do it voluntary. So all of the admins and moderators we've had all over the time have all volunteered their own time. And I didn't even know that was a thing, that someone would like help you for free, which is why I kind of just always went out alone to begin with. And that's something I've learned like so much in this industry, is there is people willing to help and wanting to help as well. You maybe just have to reach out. But yeah, so I reckon about a year. We've been going like 3 years now, but we've still got like a small team. the great thing about it as a business is it is all digitally based, so we don't need an office or any premises or anything like that.
Yeah, that's true. And what was what was the biggest challenge for you? Like, once, okay, yeah, the community was there, the demand is there. What was the biggest challenge for you as deciding to say, do I want to like jump to it? Like, do I want to create out of this my job? Like, you had other jobs, you had a career. What was that thing that triggered you, like, to say, okay, I'm going to do this? And what was the biggest challenge on it, or the biggest fear you had before doing that step?
Good question. Yeah, so I mean, we've actually only been a registered business for 2 years, so we've only ever done like 2 tax years worth of like accounts, and then the rest of the time, just over a year, was just not a business. It was just, I guess, like a community, and for myself, just more of a hobby. We didn't make any money at all in that first year, but the way the community was growing and the demand from actually the members was what made me have to make the step, because the girls were actually wanting like t-shirts and hoodies and stuff like that, and they were wanting this merchandise. And to be able to buy and sell merchandise, like, there we go, you're a business, and then you have to kind of have some regulations that you have to go by. You have a legal kind of now responsibility, and basically that's kind of how it turned into a business, because the members were wanting to get some merchandise, and then later on members were wanting to go on trips, and all these things require, like, for you to actually create a business, to have like a business name and a business bank account and everything like that. So it was quite it wasn't really like a kind of jump from one to another. It kind of eventually started developing, and and actually it started to take more and more of my time, and I think I realized that this is where my passion lies, and this is what I love doing, and I love creating this community and kind of seeing where it can go. And I just kind of thought, I'll put all my eggs in one basket, which everyone tells you not to do. I'm just going to dedicate my life to Girls at Scuba. I never really was like, this is going to be a business, because, like, I can still tell you now, I don't know how many people are watching, but we do not make money in the business. It's only been 2 years, and I think for any business to actually make a substantial amount of money for 2 years, then they should be on this live helping us three, because we're not in like the dive industry is not a lucrative industry, but I've managed to create a business which is something that is not a dive center, is not a dive operation. So I think that in itself is something completely new, really.
No, and not only that, I think that together with what you've created out of the blue, which is a community of women, suddenly you have you had to acquire a responsibility, no, within the woman's world, the woman's rights, and all of that you acquired to develop, because now you're the representative of of Girls at Scuba, which is a very strong voice nowadays. And this is one of the things that, for me as a friend and as a let's say a person that works with you in some stuff, I can see that it's so clear, like Sarah can show up to a place and there is like the empowerment on women that nowadays we like to see, which is from a very gentle side. No, it's not like on the constant fight, but actually fighting with a brain in that sense, no, for equality, for whatever we want nowadays for us women. Yeah. And I think that kind of it brought you up with it brought your responsibility with the business, kind of.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think That's true. And I think what Lou said earlier, like what is one of the biggest kind of like responsibilities or fears or something like that, that's actually one of them. It's a huge responsibility to be almost the voice or the person in the front of such a huge community, because, you know, I can't possibly represent every single woman that we have, because everyone is different, and I don't want to represent every single woman individually. I just want to represent females as a whole in scuba diving and in the dive industry. And I don't want to be the only one doing that. I'm not like, this is my space, nobody else. I want everyone else to as well. But like, I represent my brand, and it's a huge responsibility and it's a massive fear as well, that, you know, you don't want to do anything wrong, but of course you're going to. We all make mistakes, and not everyone is going to agree with what you do, with what you say. But when you have such a huge network behind you, not everybody likes what you're doing. So you have to deal with some negativity as well.
See, I think that in these kind of things, it flew my mind a little bit, but what we want mainly is to people. I think what I see now in Girls at Scuba itself is how it is opening a space for women to express themselves as they are, with their fears, with their goods, with their bads, without being shamed of whether anything, no? Like, they can just speak out freely, and I think that's an excellent space. But again, of course, you as a boys are never gonna like be right with everyone, because that doesn't happen in humanity. Otherwise, it would all get very easy. Yes. But Amiga, you are doing a great job, by the way.
I think this brings into, like, going into the business aspect, is that thing of every business has challenges, you know, like any business that you decide to start, you will have, what I've realized through these years is, like, once you have the ideas very clear, and I think that's something I admire of Sarah a lot, in the little things that I see, or the little thing I know, is she gets her points and she goes for it, and like in a very good way. But like, there is, and that's the image we see on the other side. She doesn't not only is the founder of Girls at Scuba, but decided to open another business because she goes really for what her beliefs are. And I think that one of the big parts of being a business owner, because there are a lot of challenges on the way, there are a lot of people to tell you that you're doing the wrong thing, and that what you're doing that way is not the best way, or trying to, or they aren't exactly on the same thing that you, so they're looking to see how they do it, or what do you do better, or what they do better. There is competition in the world. That's what business is, like that. But what I think that Sarah does bring me to admire a lot is that if you don't have passion for what you're going to start building, don't start it, because it's going to be a long ride. Like, what I think that what fuels you through the process is passion. Like, and I think both of your businesses have that. You know, a waste-free world comes out of full passion for conservation and helping the oceans and what you do. That I think if that fuel inside of us is not there, we can't, like, personally, I don't believe on doing it only for the money, because unless you have a brilliant idea that is going to make you millionaire guarantee, the struggles that are on the way are not easy. And maybe you want to share a little bit about that, because I think you are on two big industries, like the waste-free world as well is today an industry that is starting to grow and take a lot of consciousness around the world. And Girls at Scuba, I'm sure that also brings up that, you know, like, it's not you got into it, like, to an industry to open a space where there wasn't before.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, kind of going back to one of your points you just said there, like, you have to build a business on passion, especially in a industry that is people's passion, which is diving. Like, people go scuba diving, go free diving because they love it. They don't do it because they have to. They don't do it because it's in their contract, or, you know, like technology, like when we're using this app because it's giving us it's enabling us to be able to do something. So whoever created this app probably went into it thinking, I can make a lot of money. And with that, and good for them, you know, with that kind of helmet on, let's make a lot of money, let's do it. But in scuba diving, I just don't think that you can really go into it with your number one being, let's make a lot of money. Because you're in an industry that relies on passion and is fueled by passion. It's not really fueled by money. Yes, scuba divers, free divers do tend to have you know, a bit more money to spend, but we also buy into the passion and into the dream world of scuba diving. And if that doesn't go through your veins, and if you can't portray how much you love this sport, you'd be quite, you know, if you're trying to be a business person as well, it wouldn't go hand in hand. So I think also scuba divers can see other scuba divers, other divers, and think like, wow, actually I'm buying into you as a person, or I'm buying into your idea, I'm buying into your community, rather than like into your product. So I think that even goes to brands as well. Like, you know, maybe manufacturers go into scuba diving to make money, but if you've got a good enough social media team or front of house team or whatever that is so passionate about the sport, people will buy into the personality. So it's definitely needs to be started on passion. And I don't think that scuba diving is an industry that has a lot of money, really, especially at the moment. So again, I think most people I know in this industry, and you girls know, are doing it because they love it. So I think you can tell pretty quickly if somebody is not actually into it. I mean, if you started, for instance, like a scuba dive YouTube channel and you didn't even scuba dive, like it wouldn't take people long to catch you out. So I think that's very, very important. I think having a face, a personality in the industry is really important. So if you do run a brand, if you run a dive center, if you run a swimwear line or whatever, like to introduce yourself to people that are following you and just tell your story as well. And, you know, make sure that people know that, yeah, you are running a business and everyone needs to pay their bills, but this is the reason that I'm running the business. And hopefully the bills will get paid through that reason. So I think I've gone off a tangent there about passion. But
no, it's totally like it is what this is about, you know, like that transmitting to people as well, like what we feel about it. And I agree with you completely on that. Yeah. I'm not gonna add more because we're gonna keep going on.
Which doesn't mean that passion doesn't require, and I'm not gonna say a bad word, but doesn't require a lot of hard work, no? Because we are all women that we are working nonstop. The more passion you have, probably the harder will get for us to stop. No, in that sense. And so people, we work our asses off, trust us, with a lot of passion.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I've just got back because I can finally see the live comments now.
Yeah.
I can see all the freediving.
So
yeah.
There is Corny. How many people? Sarah, how many people are working with you nowadays?
We have 7 on the moderator team, on the Facebook group, just on Girls at Scuba, and all of the other groups inside of them. We actually have 17 Facebook or social media platforms now. So we have 7 of the girls that volunteer their time, which is incredible. And then we have social media manager, Charlotte, who runs the Instagram. We have a shop manager who sends out both for Waste Free World and Girls at Scuba. And we had, until COVID-19 came around, Lauren, who is like a content writer and kind of a representative in the UK. But she is going to come back and work for us once.
I think that for any business, it's really interesting. And I think I see that personally with Amancay, that the people you work with, now that we owe them so much for their time and wanting to follow, because as not being a personal project in that sense, it's very important that they are going together with our values, with how we do things. Sometimes that it's very important to be built up in a good team behind. So I think in that sense, I've seen Charlotte in the Instagram. I think she does a great job, which is very good. I know some of the volunteers. Like, it is very important to have a good team that works with one, no?
Yeah, and I feel bad sometimes that like it's me, the one that gets like, oh, Sarah Richard, founder of Girls at Scuba, or whatever kind of like media or even stuff like this that I get. It feels like for me, I'm like, yeah, but without, for instance, without the moderator team, I would not be able to run a group of 45,000 women. It's not me. Like, they work harder on the group than I do, you know? Like, they are constantly on it, you know. The Girls at Scuba network, a huge business, but like the core of it is this Facebook team. And, you know, without them, and even without the members, because you're nothing without the members that are part of it. So I wish I could like individually name everybody. But everyone, I hope, knows that it's not me that's like taking all of this glory at all.
No. And we thank all of our teams behind of everything, of course. Yeah, nice.
I want to ask, like, as the chat goes, I go realizing about things, like thinking about the people that are listening to us right now with an idea on their head or trying to make a small business grow, which independently that right now we're on a very difficult times for all in small businesses. I think it's, and hopefully this passes soon and we all keep going. But one of the things that I believe that we doubt ourselves when we start with a business is, and I want to ask you, how do you manage decision making? I think that one of the things that we always doubt ourselves is, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right decision that I'm taking? And not only about like opening a business or not, if not the day-to-day job that takes on every little decision. And being a person that is managing so much under her roof is like, what do you rely yourself on knowing that you're doing the right decision? And what would you tell that people that have that in their back of their heads?
Well, I don't think anyone on this planet is immune from doubt. You know, everybody has doubt, and everyone has self-doubt and doubts themselves. Like, I mean, anyone that is that thinks they're making the right decisions all the time is, I don't know, like emotionless. It's so hard to know if you're making the right decisions, especially when you are the one that has to make the decisions, and you're the one that people look up to, you know, like, oh, let's ask Sarah. And you know, there are so many times where I'm like, I don't know what to do either. So, you know, you just have to take a lot of risks in business. And actually take a lot of risks every day, even these like micro little decisions. Some of them turn out amazingly and some of them turn out really bad, but you know, without taking risk, you don't really go forward. So just know that everyone is doubting themselves and everyone is doubting the process. But you really have to, again, just dig for that passion and believe in yourself that you have your core values. I think if you keep your core values, then the decisions, even when you do make the wrong decisions, at least you know that you did it like for what you believe in.
Yeah, I think that's a great advice. Great advice and great way of seeing it. I think none of us knows that no one has guaranteed their future. No one has guaranteed the results of the decision we make. But if you do it confident that you are doing it from your gut, like from the most, your guts, you're gonna be fine. And if not, you will learn from it and will move from there.
Something else you just said, which I think is really important. You said how does somebody like build a business in this time? And I think that's a really great topic to go onto, because we're going through a really, really weird time, and maybe people were thinking about starting a business before, but now are too worried to do it at this time. And like, one of the things that, can you hear all my messages that come up? They keep popping up. No.
See, we can.
Oh, okay.
I know.
Wait a second, I'm going to quit it. One of the things that I have really, really learned during this COVID-19 experience is that the work that you do today can be your success tomorrow. Like if I had never put in 3 years worth of work with Girls at Scuba, with building it, with creating it, with doing everything that I did the last 3 years, I would not be able to sustain it now. Like I would have just completely lost it all. But because I managed to work every single day and I kept going, and believing that one day it would become something bigger, I'm now in a position where I can almost like reap the rewards of what I did 3 years ago, just starting it, literally just starting it. And I think so many of us are scared of even starting, or we're scared of just like, well, how are we going to do it? But this is the most vital time. If you start something now, you have time to work on it. When everything is back to normal, you could have a new business on your hands, a new venture, a new idea, and you wouldn't have lost anything, because this time is us just sitting around. So I think
time for creation.
Do it now. Like, do it now.
I agree totally. It is the time to get, like, I think a lot of us have normally ideas on our back of our head, or what I would do and when I would do it, but I don't get the time, or I have another job. And now is the time of that, sitting down and saying, okay, design that web page that you've been wanting to sit down and do, or put in words in a paper what exactly is that you want out of that idea. Like the first step, I think that for me, like when I built it up Amancay, is I was working on a yacht. I was doing another job, and I spent it 1 year before that between putting like, what do I want for my company? Like, what do I want for Amancay? Like, how do I want the design? How do I want the page? I actually did the page a year before, like before even knowing when was it going to be the time that I was there. But I think that time has so much value today. And on the moment that I decided to open, Gandhi was like, yeah, I had very clear what I wanted. Because
that what you're saying, it's very interesting, because you didn't even thought on the dates, like you didn't know you were going to open when you opened. Basically, you're like, oh, life just put me here, and maybe I try to open the business right now. I was planning it half a year ahead, but now let's open it. And it's like, so always be as well. I think this is a suggestion for everyone. Always be ready for sudden change, for sudden just jumping in, going for it. That's one of the most important parts on that side of actually doing it, not taking action on what you're going to do. So Lucra has been planning it for a whole year. I don't think that in her mind she was going to open half a year earlier than what she was opening, or where and how, or this and that, even if all of the setup was ready. And then we started discovering it as we went into the business, no?
Yeah. So what Sarah brought is like, sorry?
The best time to start is now. Like just every day. Like wake up, and today is the best time. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today.
Yeah. And this is for women, for men, for everyone that is doubting themselves of opening a business. If they don't know if their products are good enough or whatever it is, just do it, and tomorrow you will find out if it is good enough, or you have to keep on working on it. But even if we don't have answers from others, we're never gonna know exactly where we are standing.
Exactly. Shall we ask some questions?
Yeah, totally. If you have some of yours there, I have one here that I'm looking at right now. That is Anna Lake asking, what advice would you give young girls trying to find jobs and experience in these areas of work?
I presume like in diving, I guess that's what she means, like advice for I'm trying to find jobs in diving. Well, we actually have a Facebook group, female dive jobs, which is a really good place to start, because there is lots of like dive job groups on Facebook and stuff. But like from what I've seen, some of them have maybe turned a little bit like away from actual like serious jobs and are more into kind of like other chit chat. So we set up one specifically for females because females are really underrepresented in jobs in the industry. So it's a great place to start doing that. I would also say that you should have a good kind of like social media, not good as in like followers or anything like that, but to have your own social media channel, which really shows like positive imagery of you. Because when you are applying for jobs nowadays, like people will look at your social media and like sometimes like I will look at girls, we've had people apply for jobs and everything, and I always ask for all their social media and I look at every single one of them, and a lot of them like don't even have pictures of them scuba diving or like, and for me, like going back to that passion thing, I'm always looking for someone who is like super passionate about diving. And I would think if you're super passionate about it, you would like to share kind of photos and stuff like that. So it's very good to use kind of social media as a way to be like, hey, like you can take a look at this and see some of the places I've been. I really love it when people have blogs or videos or anything like that we can like look at. And yeah, I mean, it's a really hard time at the moment to kind of get a job. I don't know if she's specifically talking about like as a scuba instructor or if she wants to, find or like digitally maybe. I think that there's maybe more digital jobs going around at the moment, post in Facebook groups.
Yeah.
If it was of a scuba instructor, it caught my attention a lot because it talked about young girls and in the area of work. If it would be an instructor, Lou, you were an instructor with 21 years old. In that
sense,
no point in talking about how to get in a scuba instructor job now. Just to keep it a bit harder.
Yeah, exactly. I think for that, just check as well your agent. Like, I think that out of the traditional, like everything that Sarah pointed out are really good points. If not, of course, if you're PADI or SSI or any agency, they have their pages on your profile, and there's where you want to look for jobs. Yeah. Cool. I think you have more questions, sorry, that were showing up on yours.
Yeah, what do I do?
Or just read them if you want.
Okay. Yeah, you can just read them.
I have one from Alana here. It says, thanks, ladies. I'm in the middle of changing up my business to more online content for the time being, since we are all on surface interval. I'm a new instructor who is about to launch my small-scale ocean conservation-oriented dive school, so I'm super interested to learn how to do blogs and use social media. Stay tuned. Really, like we could do a whole workshop on social media. Maybe we should with media manager Charlotte.
Maybe we should.
But going back to what we were saying earlier, like now is the best time to start it. I saw a fact that there was like 42% more like social media use than ever before. Like it's incredible. Everybody is online at the moment. Everyone is on the internet. Everyone's looking through Facebook, Instagram. This is the time to start up a social media platform, to start a blog, to start a YouTube. Like we have never ever been in the time with so much internet activity. So like grab your chance and do it straight after this live. Set up, at least get your name, set up the Instagram name, buy a domain, like a website, girlsatscuba.com is our domain. You can buy one for 99p on godaddy.com. Just at least start it, because trust me, once you have bought something, even if it's only 99p, once you have started something, you are already like 100% closer than you were yesterday. And you can find that motivation to start it. So what I would say is find a name and try and get it on across all social media platforms. For instance, when I came up with Girls at Scuba, before I even like really like announced it or launched it, I checked that it was free on Twitter, Facebook group, Instagram, and everything like that. Because it's a bit of a pain in the arse when you come up with this amazing name and then it's already been taken by a lot of companies. So I think that's like number one, what you need to do. I'm just checking what else you said. What about you girls? Do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, I think that it's a moment, especially like starting to write. Like blogs are super important. It doesn't mean that you're going to be publishing them right now. Start writing everything that you have on your mind, because as your business starts launching and you start growing, you're going to use that material, but then you won't have the time to write that content.
Yeah, generating content.
Think that, But yeah, I think Sarah covered everything.
Well, yeah, but going back on like content is king. You need to writing blogs and stuff is very disheartening to begin with, because sometimes only 2 or 3 people read them, or 10 people read them, and it's super disheartening because you spend so much time writing these blogs, and not a lot of people are reading them. But you have to believe in the process. You don't become big overnight. Maybe an article that you wrote today will become big in 3 years, or will it will somehow like lift your career in 3 years. But we don't know, and that's the exciting and nerve-wracking thing about digital work and online work, is that you could create some content that could be super, super popular straight away, or could be popular in 2 months, 6 months. But that's why it's so important to just do it and to start it, and like write 10 blog posts. Maybe only one of them actually gets seen, but you never know which one it is. So like Lou just said, like start writing now.
Yeah, I think, thank you, Sarita. Like we're getting to 45 minutes, so if anyone has any questions that they want to put out right now, right there, it's your time. If not, we thank here, Sarah. Like I could speak with you for ages. Like I think that we could jump from topic to topic, and there are so many interesting things to share that people is interested. That write us, everyone that's hearing, like seeing us, like write us if there is topics that came out of this chat that you think that you really would like to read about. Maybe like even if we don't do live, if you would like to read about or anything. The idea is of Surface Interval is to create this space where we're sharing more of a chat and not only doing workshops or presentations of every aspect that there is on the living industry, and in our lives. So yeah, Sarah, you are a legend for me. Like Gandhi always makes fun that I'm a groupie. I'm a full-time groupie, and I love it because I really admire your job and you as an entrepreneur. It's like I go crazy. We go crazy with our small business, and seeing you is like, wow, my respects of everything that happens, like everything that you run and how you do it. It's impressive.
And everything that, like, I feel like the little sister in this three screen, no? Because I'm always learning from Lucre and even from you, the last things that we've done together of how to work, where to work from, and everything. It's been so good. And it just feels so nice. And it like you show me once again that things should not be easy, but feel easy at least, and thank you for that.
Yeah, I think maybe just like a closing thing to say is that definitely don't feel disheartened in this time that we're going through about business. It's still, you still have an opportunity like you have at any time, because really like it's what's inside and how you go about business that is really going to make you successful. And also that like the biggest thing that I ever really learned in business is like never compare yourself to somebody else. And I think that even from how I've been able to grow Girls at Scuba, there will be people comparing themselves to me and to my business straight away and being like, oh, how can we be like Girls at Scuba? And like, how can we do what Girls at Scuba is doing? And that's like the wrong way to look at it, because you're like an individual when it comes into your business, and you need to not compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Like from that lady Alana that said, like, you know, she wanted to start her business now. Like, she's on chapter 1 and I'm on chapter 20, so we're not on the same chapter. So like, we need to stop comparing ourselves, especially as women, because as women we're so bad at this. Like, we'll put ourselves down and we'll be like, well, I'm never going to be as good enough, or like, oh, actually I don't like the way she's doing it. And it's easier for me to like talk negatively about someone rather than putting that positivity and that energy into starting something yourself. Like, competition of course is a good thing, but like, there shouldn't be so much competition in scuba diving. And again, that's what we're doing with Scuba. Like, we don't work with one certification agency, we don't work with one brand. Like, it's community. So like, competition is healthy, but do not compete with other people. Do not compare yourself. Like, you're an individual in the business journey. And I think that's very important. I'm looking forward to seeing more businesses come in scuba diving. I'm really, really looking forward to this period when it's over. Like, who's coming? I'm excited. We need fresh new eyes on this industry. So bring it on.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone that has tuned in today. Like, we love you all. We'll be back on Monday with our next live that is going to be about fears, and it's going to be about fears in the water, and it's going to be how we translate that into our life. We will have Rose Molina, our instructor trainer, live with us, so join us. I think that the fears topic can go very interesting in every single aspect and can relate to every one of us in every single aspect. So thank you, Sarah, again. You're a legend. Thank you, guys. We'll see you on Monday.